What's up, studs and studettes? Here we are with another Ask Mike Anything, rocking and rolling, knocking out some content in bulk today because of the amount of events we have coming up. So this is going to come out the day after WinCon.
Oh wow!
Right? Yeah, because
Yeah,
this is the third one today. Yes, this is the day
yeah,
after WinCon. I don't
yeah.
know how it's going to go. I don't know if it went well. I don't know if Nate did a good job or I did a good job or Mia did a good job. Hopefully they did. On a future episode, we will recap WinCon and what wins, losses, and lessons learned. But for today, just know this was recorded 2 weeks before WinCon, and but today is the day after WinCon. So it's just so cool to have our own event and have like over 100 people attending for the first one we've ever done like this, which is pretty neat.
I think I'm excited about like a lot of these people are also not like directly in our ecosystem already.
Which is it's like 80%, Nate. 80%
That's
of
wild to me. Yeah,
attendees are not existing clients, which is crazy. Like a percentage of those 80 are like guests of clients or like employees of clients, but a small percentage. There's like probably 50 or 60 people coming that are not currently in our ecosystem at all, which I'm excited to see what that can turn into for us as our momentum continues to grow for not just me, but the authority growth of all of our coaches. It'll be cool.
hmm no,
All
for
right, what do you
sure.
got for me today?
Hey Mike, where do you go to learn to make a banana split?
All right, the first thing that popped in my head was the Fruit Ninja. I,
Your
I was
answers are getting
picturing,
worse.
dude, I was picturing like Kung Fu Panda when he did the split at the top of the thing to get to the dumplings or the cookies. Like, outside
Oh
the
my
Fruit Ninja.
gosh.
I'm just gonna give the best answers I can come up with
Yeah,
initially.
no, I love it. I love it. The punchline to this one is you go to Sunday school.
The Fruit Ninja's way better. Way better. I don't know. These last two might be some of my favorite answers I've ever had.
Oh geez.
Did you get that one? No, you didn't. Fruit Ninja, best answer yet.
What's funny, the next one is about ninjas. So the
Is it
next dad
really?
joke will be about ninjas. So we'll get there.
Perfect. That's ironic. All
Question
right. Well,
one, Brock Hensley. What's your favorite bourbon?
oh man. So Elmer T. Lee is probably like one of my favorite. Very hard to find. Eagle Rare. I've been on an Eagle Rare kick the last couple months. Colonel Taylor is another one that I really enjoy. I like the single barrel more than the blended one, but neither here nor there. But I would say Elmer T. Lee is probably like one of my, if I see it, I'm getting it. I'm not like a big Pappy fan. I think Pappy is just wildly overpriced. I think it's good. I don't think it's worth what it is personified to be. Not that it's
Yeah.
bad. I don't think it's bad. But like, I don't think it's worth $150 a fucking ounce at some restaurants. But like Elmer T. Lee, Colonel Taylor, Eagle Rare, those are three that if I see them, those are typically ones I'm going for.
Those are good choices.
Do you have a favorite rye? Or do you just stick to the scotch?
Well, mostly Scotch. Bullet's pretty good. It's just like a single malt. It's corn free. Um,
Can we talk about this
right
for a
now,
second? Because I've not met anybody in the world that has the condition you have.
okay, I am allergic to fermented corn specifically. Like a byproduct from the fermentation of corn makes me like, so an ounce of bourbon with corn in it will make me deathly sick for about 3 days.
That's
So I'm
crazy.
it's like you're hungover instantly for 3 whole days off
What
one ounce.
how do you how did you learn this? Like how long did it take you to know this was why you were getting so sick? Like how much
A lot.
bourbon did you drink?
A
Going like,
lot
man,
in
I'm
college.
hungover. Like
Like, man, I was fine after this, but then I drank this and I'd had half as much, and I'm just like sick for
just
days because it's a different kind of sick.
yeah.
Like you're sick, sick. It's different. And so, like moonshine's common in my area. That makes me sick as a dog because that's all corn mash. So
Yep.
from that, I stayed away and mostly drank tequilas because they're safe, corn free. But then easing back into whiskeys and things like that, have to Google and look up what the mash bill was to make sure it's corn free. So Bullet is corn free, even though it doesn't say corn free, because why would you advertise that? It
You
doesn't
wouldn't.
matter.
You wouldn't.
Correct. So I have to go do my research to know if I can drink it or not. So if I'm not
I,
sure if it's bourbon, I don't drink it because it has corn in it almost always.
yeah.
So scotches, I like the Glenlivet, even just like a 14-year Glenlivet's pretty good. That's
I like Lemon 15 was like the first scotch that I was like, I don't hate it.
yeah.
Because the
I think me
15's
too.
aged in oak, so it had like a good balance of that oakiness, which gave it a little bit more of a bourbon feel. But I don't like most
And
scotches.
Macallan 18's been a good go-to for me.
What's a tequila that you like? I've never been a tequila sipping guy, right? It's like 1800 shots, but like I've never sipped tequila. Is there a tequila that you would say like, hey, this is a good one to just sip on?
Oh man, the drawing a blank. The 1942. What's the
Don
brand of
Julio. I think it's
tequila?
Don Julio, right?
Don Julio 1942 is a good sipping tequila. That's like a higher end nice one. Yeah, Don Julio 1942. I'm drinking one
I've
now
never
called
had
like
it. I
Casa
gotta
de
try it.
Ores. That's good.
What do you
Yeah.
drink?
Right.
Me, what do you sip on? Diet Coke. Di-
Diet Dr. Pepper, get it right.
I apologize. I apologize. Nate
Yeah, it's
knows.
interesting the sipping tequilas versus, just regular tequilas, but there's so
I've
many
never,
out there and
I've
it's
never
like,
had a tequila that I was like, oh, I want to sit here and sip on this.
yeah,
All right.
fair.
Diet Dr. Pepper
I
and
got one in my
cherry
cabinet
Coke.
now that's
Got it.
pretty sweet.
Is there a cherry Dr. Pepper? Ish. Yeah, one of the
There is
27
at the
flavors.
restaurants with the mixture soda and infinite possibility machines.
Oh yeah, the Coke. Yeah, Burger King. Let's roll
At
out.
Burger King.
All right, let's go. Next question.
Question 2, Elizabeth Little says, what advice would you give someone who is struggling to find a career they love, has desire to start his or her own business, struggles to recognize his or her own talents, and doesn't know what next steps to take?
Mia, would you like to answer this one? I mean, hire a coach, hire a mentor would be the first step. Like that is too long of a list of unknowns for someone to figure out on their own, in my opinion, because there's gonna be too much self-doubt, too much imposter syndrome, too much uncertainty to take any aggressive decision in any direction, because there's so much you just don't know or are comfortable with. So like it's a tough one to answer because there's so much unknown. Like you don't know who you are, you don't know what you want, you don't know what you're good at, you don't know how to help people or what problems you can solve. Like that's tough, right? So I would say like even if we use like one of our clients, like Casey, for instance, right? Casey Luft hired me with like I'm kind of starting this, but I don't know who I want to service. I don't know what I want to charge. I don't know what part of it I want to help. And we spent like 18 months building something. And now he's like really well known for what he does in an industry he would have never assumed he would have been good at. But after like a lot of questions, a lot of discovery, a lot of like trials and tests of different things, we found the recipe that worked for him. And so
Yeah.
like you need help to get through that. So I mean, depending on your age, right? If you're like 19, just go get a job and like don't be
Yes.
afraid to switch jobs every like 6 to 12 months. And if a future employer has a problem with that, then like that's just a downside of your journey to figure out what you want to do. But I mean, I don't know. Like that's a tough one, Nate. There's too many unknowns. Like what would you do in that situation? If someone came to you and said, Nate, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. I don't know who I can be. I don't know who to help. I don't know what problems to solve. I can solve. What should I do next? What would you tell them?
Um, hey, I have this friend. His name's Mike, and I'll send you his contact details. I don't
Mia,
know.
how would
I
you answer
think
that question? I mean, you're probably closer to that feeling than Nate and I are. So like what did you do? Come talking to the mic. Okay.
we've got a third guest here.
but you knew you wanted to manage events. Like so you had an answer, just like if you didn't even know that, I wouldn't have known what to do next. Something.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
It's the
fair.
unknown. I think someone like that, they've got to be encouraged into a lot of like self exploration. So they got to go try new things, do different things, go get a job, work in different industries. They really got to like spend time getting comfortable having real conversation with themselves first so they can start working through that.
Well, I
Because
think that's true, but also like if you just stay on, let's just say you're on this one stepping stone, right? You're stuck in this one position. You only have the perspective of that space. If you don't
correct.
move, like you have to take action in a direction. You can go back and live at home with your parents. You can go get a job. You go move in with some friends. Sometimes the answer to your question is down the path. Like Mia
Correct.
would not have had the opportunity she has now to do like the Hall of Fame and be a part of the event staff if she would have not taken the nanny role and like been like, I know I'm underemployed right now. I'm not fulfilled. I don't hate my life, but I'm not where I want to be, but I got to do something. Which if you would not have taken that job, you would not be managing events right now. Like you just like
Correct.
very realistically, you would not be managing events right now. And so sometimes the answer to the questions is post action. Like you got to take the
Yes.
next step. And even if you don't love that step, sometimes that step connects you to the person or helps you find the realization or connects you to the organization that gets you where you want to be. But you don't get that without doing some effort on your own. Sitting still and just whining about it is not going to get you there. I'm looking at Mia because there's a
I mean,
relationship that she's involved with. I'm
you're
confident she's
right.
not listening to Ask Mike anything.
You have to take action. That is key. And a lot of times that action path will hit the right stepping stone. And so, like, I look at my life like Anchor Coffee exists because I
Yeah.
had a job at the Olive Garden waiting tables like after hours for like extra side money. So I
Yep.
took action to make side money, met a dude, started a coffee shop business. If I didn't have the coffee shop business, I wouldn't have met my current wife. Like we played because I
Yeah.
took action. It's like I need to make side money, side
Yep.
hustle, meet people, get out of the house. Boom, here I
Well,
am.
and
If I
sometimes that
wouldn't have
experience
invested in
just
coaching,
but sometimes that experience just teaches you what you don't like. Sometimes to
correct?
find out what you like is a game of elimination.
Yes,
Don't like that, don't like that, don't like that, don't like that. Okay, well that's minimizing the list of things you could like, which I think in turn also helps reach the destination of determination. But action is the short answer. Go whatever you have the opportunity to go do right now, whether it's volunteer at your church, getting a job, waiting
yes,
tables, go do something and you will be put on a path to learn more about yourself and what your capabilities are.
correct.
That's the short answer.
100%.
Cool. Next
We
question.
found it. Joy Nord asked, "What drives you, dude?"
Is that how she said it?
I imagine.
He threw his shoulders up. What drives you, dude?
Drives you, dude.
That was great. I love how Nate tries to impersonate the person with no context of what they sound like.
I've
That's
never
awesome.
seen this person. I didn't look him up on Facebook.
But she definitely does this with her shoulders when she asks questions. That's awesome.
Why not? I do sometimes.
So it has changed over the course of time. Um, I will tell you substantially it's changed over the course of time. So at one point it was people, at another point it was money, at another point it was things, at another point it was authority and influence, at another point was just being happy and joyful. Like, so what drives me is never been the same. Like, I don't think there's been a unifying message um across all of those things. And we're just talking about in the last like 12 years. Basically, since I got into my, adult career, I guess it's been closer to 15 years now. Fuck, no, it's like 17 years. Holy shit. I've been working for almost 18 years. Math. So it's changed drastically over time. At one point it was just like, how do I get this promotion at Verizon? Then it was like, how do I help grow this company? Then it was like, how do I make my dad proud of me? And then it was, how do I gain clients and grow my influence? And it was like, how do I buy the $1 million house? And then it was, how do I just enjoy the journey? How do I like get to enjoy this lifestyle at some point? How do I delegate? At one point I'll put as much time as I need for the money, Now it's I'll spend as much money as I have to for the time. Like, that's crazy how quickly that calculation has changed in the last just year. If I look at this point 12 to 18 months ago, it went from I'll travel as much as I have to, I'll coach as much as I have to, I will work as much as I have to for the money, because the house was the big decision in 2022, to I will spend as much money as I have to buy my time back, because my time is more valuable, and I want to spend more time with the kids. I want to coach them. I want to, throw the ball with MJ in the morning and not be at some town going to talk to some other people to change their lives when I need to change my own family's lives. So the motivation now more is protecting my time. Before it was like, I'll give all my time away for the money. And so I don't think it's been one thing. I think it's adjusted significantly over the years. That's just the truth. That's just the truth.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
I mean, it's changed a lot over time. At one point it was, I failed out of college. I don't know if I haven't talked about that much in my content recently, but like, I failed out of college freshman year, and I got kicked out. Like, my grades were so bad, I got kicked out of school. I was playing baseball, I was partying, I was going to the beach, I was chasing women, I was not going to class. I have more college credits from high school than I do from 3 semesters of college. Like, that's a true statement.
Oh, geez.
And so when I first decided, I'm like, when I made the decision, college isn't for me. I remember looking at my dad and saying, Dad, I'm wasting your money and my time. I'm not going back. And that did not go well at all, because both my parents have like master's degrees, and both my brothers are college graduates. Like, I was the one that it just wasn't for me. And I remember leaving that conversation with my dad saying, I'm not going to let this lack of a piece of paper define my future. And I can't tell you why I was mature enough to even believe that at 19. It was like 18, 19 years old when I made this decision. And I remember just so confidently saying, school's not for me. I'm not going back, even though my parents want me to. But I remember in that moment, immediately after that conversation, I was driving back to my house, because at 19, I bought a house. Like, when I moved at 18, I got a job. At 19, I bought a townhouse. I remember leaving my parents' house, driving back to my townhouse at 19 years old, saying, I'm not going to let the lack of this degree be my defining moment. And that was the driving factor for probably 10 years. And that was a huge influence on like why I worked so hard, and why, I was 23, 24, 25, 26, making, 130 grand a year. Cause I was really good at sales, and thinking I made it. I had the house, I bought a second house. I was like, my primary house, still had the townhouse, was renting that out, 23, 24, driving the Cadillac, like living it, fucking miserable. Because I was driven by I was motivated and driven by the wrong things. And so it has to evolve. If why you're showing up for life at 22 is the same at why you're showing up for life at 35, you're not evolving. It can't be the same forever, in my opinion. It has to evolve, because your surroundings are evolving, your family's evolving, your soul is evolving, your opportunities are evolving. So your driving factors, like what gets you out of the bed in the morning, I think it has to evolve, in my opinion. I mean, do you have a singular driving force for long periods of time?
Well, I mean, there was that long period of just chasing, like, hit that $1 million mythical target that I had set, and, just, I guess, make it beyond where my parents were. And I have a master's degree, so I'm the first college educated, person in our family line. So I did that, realized that's not for me. Pivoted, pivoted out of that and went hard the other way. So I don't know. Then it's transitioned after, I got married. Now it's like, how can I take care of my family? And then that transitioned into just be provider to how can I be there for my family?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge motivating factor on, like, leveraging time, hiring out, taking risks, like hiring a video editor, all those things. It's a lot of it's just to get my time back and manage. And I have a lot of free time, so I've got time to fill for sure. But it's intentional. It's intentional free time so that I can flex and garden. I'm taking beekeeping back up, pick the guitar back up, and do more of my life to enjoy things. And like the money, like I'll keep making it. I'll make more money. That's one thing I'm learning. The less I do, the more money I'm making. The
Well,
less
I
I'm
think
just driven by it, the more it's attracted to me.
well, that, and I think also like when you balance your time and you protect your time appropriately, where you feel energized more often, you make better decisions. Like that's a
Yes, that's the
fact.
one
Like you make
fact.
better decisions, so things move faster and you actually win bigger because you're making better
Correct.
decisions along the journey because you have the energy to do so.
Correct. It's the less is more idea. Like
Right.
that's real. And so it does evolve. It evolves and changes, and it will change again in, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Like it will just keep evolving. And there's a
I
lot of
will
driving
say though,
factors.
I think even though it evolves, you better have something. Like if you're not
Yes.
motivated to get out of bed in the morning by something where you're excited and you're energized and it creates discipline in your life because you're willing to overcome setbacks or low energy or failure along the journey to have that thing that you're striving for, you have to have
Yep.
a mission. Like you better have something. It can change, not daily, seasonally, right, in life,
Yeah.
but you better have something that's getting your ass out of bed in the morning because it's really easy. With a click of a button, you can literally order food, you can get whatever you want, you can watch as many movies as you want, you can get online and talk to people whenever you want. Like there's not a lot of reasons to get out of bed unless you have a purpose. So you better have some
Right.
form of a purpose, and it can change and evolve, but make sure you have something. That was a really long answer to her question, but I thought that was fair.
No, that's solid, dude.
Is that it? Is that 3?
That's 3.
Well, guys, appreciate you as always. Share, comment, send us your questions. Give me a chance to answer them. These are fun, and hopefully we're bringing you value, and you guys continue to tune in and enjoy, some more conversational vulnerability that Nate and I get to have on these segments. So, as always, you keep asking the questions, and I'll keep answering them so that you can win fast and win often.